was really bad.
That'll do, man. You're good.
Yes, that was Plush by Stone Temple Pilots. And if Rob was here, we would force him to sing.
I don't think we need to force him to sing.
Yeah, he'd probably be inspired to sing, hey, how's it going, Pete? Well, you know, you have good days and you have bad days. And that was not exactly a great day, but, you know, it's
intro
karaoke. So we appreciate everyone tolerating this, but this is the ante that you have to pay to listen to the rest of the 1 hour rant that we're going to engage in.
Rant and fun.
So crazy knowledge. I mean, you know, stuff drops out of all these organic conversations, unscripted, obviously.
No plans ahead.
No, there isn't. Actually, we don't really know what we're going to talk about, but we always figure something out, right? So, welcome everyone to IoT Coffee Talk. And remember, we're here just to have fun. So take us seriously at your own risk. And we would qualify the risk on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, being pretty way up there. I mean, P, I don't know, what would you say? Around an 8? On the Richter scale?
Yeah, we're at least
yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about seismic level risk here. And potential destruction associated with that. So yeah, we're gonna try to keep it a little bit lower this week. You know, just be nice to our audience here, but we do it for the kids, right, guys? We even though none of us are wearing a IoT Coffee Talk shirt. But yes, we have a charity. It's called Elevate Our Kids at www.elevateourkids.org. And it's a charity that we've established to help kids K through 12 bridge the digital divide. And so these are kids who are living in underserved and unserved communities. And so our mission is to help these kids have a shot and to be engaged with digital education, digital economy in the future, and be part of our precious digital workforce. So hopefully you will find it in your hearts to donate. And again, just go to www.elevateourkids.org. And if you're not into charity, but you are into fashion, we have a bunch of merch. So purchase a hoodie or t-shirt. We have IoT Coffee Talk stuff as well as Elevate Our Kids stuff. So all proceeds go to the charity. And with that, hey guys, what's up?
Hey, I was going to say those kids will be able to play baseball and pay their taxes and write poems and all the other stuff that regular kids can do. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. We need to train humans. It's called human training, right? Not AI training, so that they can inference.
Human in the loop.
Human inferencing. Yeah, human in the loop.
That's the hot topic,
man. Because that's what everyone's discovering is like we still have to have people in the middle, right? And like what we were talking about earlier, Olivier, you know, AI is a tool, and I've recently seen somebody post that you don't get it if you think AI is just tool, which I thought was an interesting comment. I don't know. What do you guys?
Well, it's a bit of an existential statement around tools. You know, when we think of tools, we think of inert objects like hammers and screwdrivers and stuff. But you know, AI is arguably way beyond that in terms of its flexibility, and it's a tool that almost like puts in the screws by itself. You know, I mean, it's a little bit different than that. I think that's fair.
Does it? Would you? It's just to me it's an evolution of existing tools because it comes in addition to existing tools. Think of the power tools. You know, you were able to tighten the screw on your own with a screwdriver before, and then with power tools you still have to aim. You don't have to put as much effort yourself.
Right.
But you know, if you have to put in a certain torque and so on, you can use the tool for that and so on, and you save you don't have to spend that kind of resource, which is your energy, anymore. and eventually, be faster in your job. And to me, AI definitely, augments the tools that we have.
Some of those elements, yeah.
Yeah. Like, what are those? The pneumatic guns or the, not guns, hammer.
Nail guns, the nail guns.
Yeah, the nail guns. Those things.
Yeah. Be careful with those.
Yeah. Yeah, but you still have
no country for old men.
Yeah. But obviously, it enables different processes, right? Different ways of approaching the same problem and then gaining, if designed correctly, gaining additional efficiencies. I don't think by default it does. It can create more problems as well as at an exponential rate.
Sure.
Like any tool.
But I think it's important to understand the nature of tooling and how they get applied in a particular operation, and then evaluating risk, reliability, and outcome, right? In terms of a productivity or whatever it is that target benefit that you're looking to achieve using that tool. But there's typically a person in the middle, and automation. I think we can't confuse automation with intelligence. Intelligence can augment different modalities of automation, and intelligence doesn't inherently automate stuff, right? And even if it's a cognitive thing, like when you look at a lot of these agentic frameworks, they're designed with human intent and human articulation of what an operation or a workflow or a process flow is. And there can be some degree of automation, but the discernment oftentimes, the thing is, statistically, the discernment is missing. And to automate, let's say, an error at massive scale is a business risk, right? And so I think that's that whole learning that I think a lot of folks are doing in POCs as they're trying to figure out what is the best way to use this the generative AI or agentic technology. Yeah. So
I was going to say about agentic AI, I published a post this week because we're now seeing, it's funny, agentic AI is kind of suffering through some of the challenges with IoT, and that how do you have agents working together and communicating together? There's like the MCP protocol for some basic, AI API access, but now there's A2A, there's Lambda, there's like Cisco's got a thing. So how, the protocol for agents to sort of work together has now become like, as we expect, sort of a Cambrian explosion of mess. And now it's like, well, yeah, there's like 9 different ways of doing it. So we'll see how that gets settled, but hopefully it's not a multi-year journey to find something that everyone can work with.
It'll be multi-year.
Yeah, okay. I was hoping it wasn't going to be multi-year, but if you want to get into the agentic connectivity consulting business, you probably have lifetime employment at this point.
It's a hot thing. You know what they say, where there's mystery, there's margin.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, it's a hot topic these days, especially I'm going to this thing next week on agentic AI. It's like, and from an edge perspective, and you can imagine, we haven't figured out. We're in the Steam age of figuring it out on the cloud. But imagine trying to get agentic AI to work with devices.
I expect to see at least 1,000 agentic AI conferences this year.
That's right.
Put on by people who really don't even know what it is, but we're putting it together, baby.
There you go. agenticai.com.
Yeah. And, there's also a lot of confusion about what agentic AI is. When you go to the NVIDIA conference or GTC, they talk about it as if it is all this, they call it the thinking timescale stuff, like the reasoning models that they call it a reasoning model. They should just probably call it that, but having that sort of autoregressive cycle of allowing a LLM to think through a process, right? that they call agentic, but that's more at the model level, right?
Right.
And,
Right.
but yeah, I don't see why they're using agentic AI in that way to describe a reasoning model's architecture. Then you have the agentic AI that I think most of us are familiar with and are referring to, which is sort of that RPA plus LLM or reasoning model type of solution or framework. Do you know what I'm saying? So now you have people talking past each other, right? You have one camp talking about the RPA plus LLM, whatever reasoning model. And then on the other side, you have folks talking about going from an LLM to a reasoning model. You know what I'm saying?
Don't forget about the third camp.
What's that?
Remember, a few years ago, I invented agentic digital twins powered by AI.
Oh, crap.
I could show you the blog post. I wrote it on an airplane flying to Stockholm. So, boom.
Did you patent that?
Boom.
The future.
Is that like AGIoT?
Yeah.
It's like AGIoT, agentic IoT. Is that
Yeah.
IoT is critical to the success of agentic AI.
It's not a fantasy. At CES, actually, you have a video coming out about this. As you looked at a lot of the things they put out, it's a lot of IoT with AI embedded in some way, right? The video I'm going to do is about smart fridge. Samsung had their smart fridge, and so it is a partnership with Instacart, and then they have a camera on the refrigerator that shows what goes in and out of the fridge. You can tell what's in the fridge, and obviously it has an app, obviously, and so that's
spoiler alert. No one will buy that.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah, I said, well, it remains to be seen what happens with this or how people use it, and then another thing with all of these super advanced things they're doing is just raising the cost of these appliances, right? So if someone can get a fridge that does just the cooling and stuff that it's supposed to do without all this other shenanigans, that I'm sure they choose that, right? So
a lot of these markets, just like in the car market, the biggest seller, the highest margins are the Escalades and the big SUVs. So they have to, that's where the margin is. And the economy cars actually turns out it's about 2% of the market. But the big SUVs and pickup trucks, and they're loaded. So that's why they take these appliances that are low margin white goods and try to add all this Google stuff into it. But I think Samsung's introduced that smart fridge for about 10 years now at every CES.
Yeah.
It gets a little smarter and smarter, but never smart enough that so anyone will buy one. So still working on it.
This is the classical AI example since the 60s. So the smart fridge. So
I've made an observation over the last however many years. Almost every AI use case I've been hearing are they're just reusing the same IoT use cases that we had years ago. Like, seriously, I'll hear people say, oh, with AI, you can do blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, we already said that 10 years ago for IoT. I mean, seriously, they're just rehashing the same use cases.
Yeah.
This time it's real. This time it's serious because we have AI.
Brings AI. Yeah.
And all these use cases don't require AI.
Yeah.
They are just fine with.
But I mean, look at the classic example.
But
look at the classic example like Amazon Alexa. Arguably, Amazon has done more damage to the IoT market than any other company on earth because of Alexa and pushing this thing out that never freaking worked. And like they've trained everyone to like not ever use any of this stuff for their lights or their house again. But now they can put an LLM on the back end, and it's actually like the new slogan is "Now works." So
now it works.
Now with functionality that works.
Okay, well,
that. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. That's me. But that's the issue: is the stuff got introduced early, it didn't really work, and so you can say, yeah, now I put some AI against it, it's probably going to work better. So there's nothing wrong with that. I've been improving their scenario. I agree, it's the same scenario. Yeah.
Well, ADT home security classic
works better, but things like that get introduced.
you know?
Weird connection.
Yeah.
You know,
Home security market definitely is, that's a boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, instead of someone calling the police when your ADT security alarm goes off, it's just going to have an LLM to decide what to do. And it might say, buy some milk.
Probably. Yeah, I always
That's
make the Easter egg to be able to talk with a human person when I get into this rabbit hole of press 1 if you want to do this, press 2 if you want to talk with someone else.
I think most people do that. So
yeah,
there, I think it's always a problem when companies try to make AI as a barrier between them and the customer, because people don't want that.
Yeah.
Like if you make something works, maybe when you would call you so much, or if you let us talk to a human, because for whatever reason, the choices they give you is never what you want.
Yeah.
I need those 3 things.
But you know what? Just improving the front end of an IVR, right? I think is valuable.
Yeah.
As long as it's not wasting your time. The problem is, I think a lot of, and this harkens back to my days doing the, what they call CTI, the computer telephony integration projects back in the early days of CRM. Designing these things, even if you had like great tools, was still really, really tough. And back then, we ended up implementing things that were complete annoyances to the customers, right? And so if you can continue to leverage technologies like generative AI or large language models and even reasoning models to augment and improve the existing experiences, that's great. Is it like this exponential thing? Typically not. You still have to somehow engineer and apply quality guardrails on these things so they don't end up recreating the problems that we already have with these automated systems, right? And so proper design is really, really tough, especially as you start to go into these POCs and you explore what's possible. It goes back to what we've been saying for a while on the show, and what I tell all my clients and end users that I talk to is, you need to start off with understanding what the limitations of the technology are. There's fundamental limitations that you cannot overcome. If you go and you talk to the researchers, they will tell you, we don't have a solution for this. This is a fundamental limitation of this technology. You need to start with that. Anything else above that, if you are not aligned to that foundational truth, you are going to get yourself in trouble. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. And people didn't do that with generative AI. They're still not doing that. That's why they keep 88% of POCs fail. That's a really high number. 88. I mean, I think IoT was like 75% or something. 88% is like, dude, you're like getting everything wrong.
Maybe the Blue Origin rockets are actually a POC, and it fundamentally is not capable of going higher than 60 miles. And it just keeps failing to make it into orbit. Maybe that's what's really happening.
Yeah.
But they're astronauts.
Hey, you can pivot and build a space tourism, a semi-space tourism, or semi-orbital space tourism business off of that, right?
Or pseudo-orbital.
Oh. Almost.
It's Bill.
Hey, what's up, Bill?
What's up, people?
You can just ride Space Mountain down in Disneyland. That's probably
exactly. You're right.
Save yourself a lot of money. Although, have you seen the prices?
Yeah,
for a one-day ticket at Disneyland.
Yeah, it's gotten pretty high. We were just there, so it is borderline between
All
Blue
right.
Origin and Disney.
I stand corrected.
Price. Prices are very similar. Yeah.
And even worse, when you're at Disney, if you want to do any of the rides and not wait 2 hours, you have to pay extra to get to that fast lightning lane.
Lightning pass.
Yeah.
Everyone
Lightning
goes into
pass.
paying that additional thing, which you have to like. That's becoming stupid because you're paying very high ticket for getting in line for 2 hours several times a day.
Well, the trick, the cheat code is to have a residential address in California.
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
Yeah.
And that'll get you a significant discount.
Yeah.
Just to go to Disney, I will buy a house there, which is like totally crazy prices just to go to Disney. Yeah.
That's what you should do.
I'm sure you could buy a residential address on the dark web.
Oh, yeah.
I'll sell you one.
There you go. I don't even need to go to the dark web. I just need to go IoT Coffee Talk.
You just go to the dark guy. I mean, I can.
Dark man.
But you're right, Olivier. When
getting dark.
everybody buys those lightning passes, and so it doesn't help you. It's kind of like air travel. Everyone has status on the airplane
TSA.
they're getting on.
No, the worst is the TSA now. Like I was in San Francisco yesterday, airport. The TSA line is huge. Everyone was like pre-check. And I'm like, well, I mean, I'm going to go back to regular. I think it's faster.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you carry both, clear and TSA.
There's a better solution. Just if you're on Southwest, I shouldn't tell anyone this because this is
please.
Yeah,
Don't worry, no one's listening.
Then everyone's going to do it, and I'm going to shoot myself in the foot. So you guys know I had a delay in my renewal for my global entry, right?
Ouch.
Yeah, it really sucked. And I thought, oh my God, this is going to be a nightmare. I can't go through the TSA line. Well, to everyone's point, the TSA line sometimes can be slower than just the regular line. But the best line to be in is the A-list line or the premier line. So if you have status, just go through there. Don't even waste your time with TSA. There's like literally no line. And so like when I fly out of San Francisco, I don't even bother going to the TSA line anymore. I just go through the A-list line.
Premium.
You get up front, boom, you're through. The only thing you have to do is take off your shoes.
What is this A-list line you're talking about?
Well, there's a premium, like at SeaTac, there's like a premium line.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so if you're
you have to be rich or have a lot of miles.
No.
no, it's like
That doesn't work though for American or United.
I'm not aware of this line. You're right. I do. I've got the TSA Pre plus clear.
It's kind of awkward that Rob doesn't know about that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a peasant.
you can be platinum on United or American, and that does not work. It only works with Southwest.
Have you really tried it?
I tried it.
Okay, because I've done it on United. I think it's just we have a bias.
I'm a peasant. I'm just a peasant.
But the fastest way to skip the line is just fly private. That's what you just need to do. Is fly private.
What is this obscure theory of queues? So what type of queues do you have when you get into an airplane?
We have all
the security line, we've got the regular, and then we've got the TSA
so this is for the
pre-check.
Okay.
So pre-check is you pay $75 for like 5-year thing. So you're pre
certified as not being a terrorist or
you're not a total horrible person. You're just a questionable person. You're not a horrible person.
Which means you have to keep your shoes on.
It's theater. It really is just theater.
It is theater.
Like ridiculous. Like the line, they have the first class and all the other, people can get on first, and then the steerage is everybody else. But we're all getting on the same place and playing and getting on, going to the same place. But okay.
Well, even Delta's got they have Delta 360 now, which is like an invite-only club.
Yes.
So if you're a Diamond Medallion, you may get invited to join Delta 360. I'm like what is this?
Global entry. Yes. Not global entry, but global services. Yeah, United Global Services.
Looks like another tier above.
No, you're right, Pete. I further fell into peasant land because you're right. I was Delta Diamond forever and never got invited to 360. Well, is that the one where people are like getting picked up in the Porsche outside
Yes,
of the
that's right.
and
That's
take it
right.
to the And we had friends. Olivier and I have got friends who at Microsoft that I would see doing that, and I'm like,
Diamond, yeah.
dude, hook a brother up.
Yeah.
You know?
They have like
You
their
know,
own clubs and club sections now and stuff.
those tight connections where you need a Porsche, to take you. Like, oh, here you go, sir.
Right.
We actually have a human that's gonna carry you out of the plane and down onto the
That's
tarmac.
right. Piggyback. Just jump on the back of that person,
Put you into a Porsche,
drive at
Cayenne,
50 miles an hour,
and then blaze around and get you to your plane so you don't miss your tight connection.
But Pete, I think you had the right answer. Just fly semi-private.
That's right.
I mean,
Colin.
JSX has a good deal. You don't get more than like 40 people on the plane. And you skip TSA and go straight to the tarmac.
There you go. Boom. Bill,
Well,
do you watch? I think the best videos on TikTok these days is that guy Colin for Amalfi Jets.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I see that guy.
That's hilarious.
Real. That's not real.
Hey Colin, this is McKenna. I really need to get to London like by today. My boyfriend broke up with me. Okay, that'll be $300,000. No problem. I mean, it's hilarious. I love those.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to fly you guys on the Edge AI Foundation jet for our next event in Milan. Ooh. Milan, July 2nd through the 4th. Make sure you get your tickets.
Ooh. Yeah, we gotta fly private to Milan.
I would love that.
Jet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll bring the bourbon.
For that, I recommend you Citation C50X plane for that.
That's right.
We'll have to do a refueling stopover. We'll make sure there's caviar and steaks and lobster for you on the plane. A Bentley will pick you up at the airport and take you to the conference for the Edge AI conference. No problem.
There you go. No problem. That's how we roll.
Bread and butter in the car.
Yeah.
With flaky salt.
That's right.
Yes.
Exactly. Some great Poupons, of course.
It's going to have my French butter. French butter that everybody's making fun of me, but it's so good.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
Don't ask for butter in Italy, Rob? Be careful.
Yeah, good point. Italy. Whew. Yeah.
Pretty good.
They don't have butter.
Olivier, we'll have to go one night or whatever. There's a little tiny French restaurant downtown Seattle that's mostly just charcuterie boards and bread and everything.
Is it Le Pichet or?
It's I'll find it in a second.
Or is it the one next to to Pike Market?
No, it's not. It's like it's at the bottom of one of the skyscrapers, and it's a little higher up the hill. But
okay,
La Caviste.
Never been to that one. Okay,
very small.
Guys, if you're in the Seattle area, that's an open invitation to go.
Anyway, that's where I learned about that butter.
Yeah, and I should expect a very expensive bill because considering you're buying your butter, like how much? $39.
It was $39 to ship it. Hey, and they maintain the cold chain. I mean, it came in a refrigerated box and everything because that's part of the deal.
How do you know? How do you know? Did you get access to an IoT platform that gives you all data points with the timestamps and the charts and everything?
They did. I saw this little writing at the bottom. It said thethings.io all along the timestamps. I'm like, oh, okay. All right.
There's a lot of places that are getting pretty good at that. I mean, I get my pork imported from Spain and it comes like in a matter of a day and a half.
Wow.
Oh.
I mean, you can't buy Iberico pork around here. You can buy all the beef you want in Texas, but you can't find Iberico pork.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Maybe that's a business idea for all IoT Coffee Talk.
And then tie your IoT platform to it. Done.
That's right.
You know that butter, if salted, does not really need to be refrigerated if maintained below 70 degrees. No, for real. I mean, butter does not need to go in the fridge if it's salted.
Don't do that.
You don't have to.
Don't tell me this stuff.
No, it's true. It's true. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but man, I never grew up with butter in the fridge.
Yeah. Butter without.
Yeah, it was out, and that was it.
My experience with this butter is it's so good. You're at the restaurant and you've got all these cheeses and all these amazing things that you can put on your bread, and it turns out the butter tastes better than anything there is at the whole restaurant. It blows you away. It's so good.
It's like a metaphor.
And that's the butter you find for $3 at a regular supermarket.
No, that's a different one. That's the cheap version. You shipped me a picture.
No, that's the same one. That's the same one. That's QFC, we are changing the color to ship to the US so that people in the US think that they're buying some luxury thing, but it's the regular basic butter.
Uh-oh.
Let's change the topic before Rob gets depressed.
The thing is, by $39, I found it for $3.30 on a French online supermarket.
Oh my god! Order it. You should order it.
We need to have
my parents to ship it.
No.
You need to have a butter off.
Go through the process yourself and see if you can find a better deal shipping it here to your house.
Oh, no, I'm sure. I mean, anything imported anyways is the price of gold today. So, I'm not even trying.
Of that before tariffs get in.
Yeah, the butter tariff.
Rob's butter
issue.
Because I learned about the butter at the restaurant at Le Cadiz. My wife loved it so much. We asked the owner, and they told us what it was, and said maybe you can find it at such and such market downtown every once in a while, or you can have it shipped from France. And we searched and we struggled. And then there's someone taking us for a ride. It's selling us through Amazon. And, stupid Americans for the win.
Yeah, $39 on Amazon. That's crazy.
But you're happy. You like it. So.
I'm happy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fabulous.
So it's worth it.
It was totally worth
there
it.
You go.
It was totally
That's
worth
right.
it. It's
price
so
based on value, not cost.
That's right.
Exactly. It's a value-based thing here.
That's right. All about butter.
So here's a question. Does it taste better if it's more expensive? Do you feel better driving a super expensive car than a cheaper one?
The psyche says yes.
Yes, your mind
says yes.
All this stuff we're talking about is really mind games, like first class and the special lane. And I kind of crack up about the whole thing. Even when I'm on first class, I like to get on the plane last because I don't feel like getting hit by everybody's luggage while they walk past, right?
I don't want to sit there and watch people do their poverty walk to the standard seats.
Oh.
So actually, Olivier, what I read a study that said that people like more, for example, for IKEA furniture, they like more their furniture if they make it themselves.
Oh.
Instead, if they buy it made by someone else.
Okay,
even if it's less comfortable, or
so just assembling the furniture is kind of like making the furniture. It feels like
I don't know.
You feel like no.
I don't know about them. I rather have, if it's going to be made, I'd rather have somebody else make it so I have somebody to blame if something's wrong.
There you go.
Yeah.
Probably you never blame, right? If you made it yourself.
Speaking of making stuff, go to Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
What's that? What do they have?
It's the carne asada.
Oh, is it good?
Yeah, it's like pre-packaged and it's kind of already in its marinade.
Blasphemy.
And so, basically I squeezed some limes in there and everything, but you could do it on the grill or a cast iron skillet, like medium high, 2 minutes on each side, and make your carne asada, whatever, tacos, put them on.
Blasphemy. You never buy prepackaged carne asada. That is, you can't do that. Rob, I'm disappointed.
But the guy in the fast lane at the airport told me about it and said, you got to do it, bro.
Oh, my God.
Say you did and don't.
Oh, my goodness.
Go get you a good piece of Wagyu skirt steak
See you next week.
and marinate it yourself. Throw that stuff on the grill, high temp, grill it, slice it up. Make your own tortillas as well.
What?
Oh yeah, definitely.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I make almost everything, but I wouldn't make
my own tortilla.
I will make my own corn tortillas all day long.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference making your own
it does.
corn tortillas. Totally different. Yeah.
Oh man, is there?
I'm all in with Bill on that one.
All right, send me a link to the YouTube video that shows me how to make my own tortillas.
Okay, so go to Macienda.com and buy your tortilla press.
Okay.
They also have the mixture if you want to do that, if you don't want to make the masa and everything from scratch. But go to Macienda, get the tortilla press, and go. Just do it.
All right.
Yeah, it's not that hard. It's not that hard.
Okay.
And it's fast. Once you have everything prepped, you press those things out, throw them in the skillet, watch them puff up. Man.
Let's just be really clear about tortillas. The ones at a good Mexican restaurant in Tejas are so much better than the crap at the grocery store. In fact, I would say it feels like most of the tortillas in the package at the grocery store, they're almost like rubber kind of consistency.
They're not good. They have a lot of preservative stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can avoid preservatives, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, you're right.
No, you get the masa corn, you put some water in it, you kind of roll out your little ping pong balls and you flatten them. It's like a whole different food. It's a whole different food.
Press is so cheap too.
Is it similar when you're making your flour tortillas for fajitas?
Probably similar.
It's similar, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't do flour tortillas at all. Everything is corn tortillas.
I agree. I'm down with the corn. Absolutely.
Sometimes it's corn and sometimes it's flour. It depends. But you may be anti-grain person, and
I'm just anti-flour tortillas.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too.
I see.
I'm same.
Can you start a blog post where all you do is just rail against flour tortillas?
It's just I don't know.
I hate flour tortillas.
That was the thing when I came out here to Texas and everyone was talking about breakfast tacos. I'm like, hell, let me go try. And it were flour tortillas.
Yeah, they are.
Blasphemy.
They are. You went to Taco Cabana drive-through to get your breakfast tacos, and
here in Dripping Springs, you got these little trucks and everything. You go and get them, and I'm like, what are you guys doing?
The guys at the trucks even did it wrong?
Yes.
No way.
They you know what their answer was? Oh, it's Tex-Mex. I'm like, I looked that one up. There's no definition for it.
I thought food trucks were the last best hope for humanity.
I would be really upset about that.
It's a food truck.
I'll probably have to meet Olivier for lunch today at some Mexican place in Issaquah Highlands.
Yeah. Bring your butter.
Game. Bring your butter.
That's our new catchphrase. Bring your butter.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that agave place in Issaquah Highlands, man, they have good queso with chorizo.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
They have good homemade guacamole. That's pretty decent.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good for being way up here in the Pacific Northwest, oblivious to Mexican food. So it's not bad. Not bad. Kind of like being oblivious to the right kind of French butter. And yet,
or the right kind of tortillas.
And the right kind of tortillas.
Exactly. It's all double in the details.
Yeah, you've been schooled.
IoT.
That's right.
IoT. Yeah, cold chain. That's the excuse to talk about it.
Cold chain. Cold chain's the thing. And they kept it cold all the way. And I had to pay extra for the cold chain.
Yes.
Cold plane.
Remember, you don't have to refrigerate the butter.
It's based on, but this is special French butter.
Yeah. So trying to steer something I wanted to bring up before we went into the butter thing is and actually related is you started Leonard ranting about the fact you don't have enough time and you're getting overwhelmed, and we're talking about the right tools and is AI the right tools. I'm trying to reconstruct how we got to where we're at. But the one thing I wanted to bring up is the fact that sometimes enough is enough. Sometimes you don't need an additional tool or a tool that does more than what you just need. And so like refrigerated, containers, maybe you don't need it. Maybe you don't need cold chain. I don't know. I mean, like some customers are just like, I want to have the full shebang thing with digital twin and all the tracking and everything IoTified and so on. And you're just like, no, you don't. No, you don't need that. So like sometimes, always the right tool is the right tool. And so about all the AI, generative AI that is put in front of customers, well, maybe it's not the right AI, the right tool that is put in front of customers. They're trying to do something that does too much and does not do it right and doesn't really solve the problem. And basically it's too much. Sometimes, or most often, I would say enough is enough and you don't need more.
Yeah.
Sure. Enough is enough.
I think you can get there as long as you get past the discovery phase, right?
Sometimes you just need to go to Home Depot and get the simple tool.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a hammer.
Sometimes you just need a hammer.
Yeah. I mean, things that are known, right? And you know what you can do with a hammer, what it's capable of, what you might be looking for in terms of the specific attributes of that tool. The thing is you have to start off with understanding the tool. And I don't think with generative AI, it's pretty obvious. A lot of companies are not
right
there.
It's not a magic wand. It's not a magic wand to just fix problems magically.
Right. So, to even get to understanding what good enough is, which is in that realm of, okay, now you're solutioning based on an understanding of the tool, that is still way out there. That Gartner study, which floated that number of 88% failure rate of POCs, which is horrific, by the way, everyone.
Because people suck.
Problem. Yeah, it's like you're following some weird evangelist person saying that this stuff is magic, and you're trying to do magic tricks on your business. It doesn't work that way. This is like such simple stuff, but I think the big problem is we're increasingly becoming prone to techno-cultism, where, I mean, we literally have people demonizing people that actually know what they're talking about as being Luddites or whatever, when they themselves didn't even do the basic research or homework on these technologies, right? Or flat out don't I don't know who said it. I think it was you, Rob. Flat out don't even have experience implementing anything, but they make a crap ton of money off of.
What is it you say you do here exactly?
Huh?
They're going to bring in the Bobs, the consultants. What is it you say you do here exactly? I'm a people person. I talk to the goddamn engineers so that the customer doesn't have to talk to them because they don't know how to talk to people.
Office Space.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Office Space is my guide for everything in life.
It is.
Same with Idiocracy, increasingly these days.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
you've been missing a little work lately. Wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
Yeah.
Just make sure you get those TPS reports in.
Exactly.
TPS reports.
Exactly. Here's a weird thing, and I know I misheard it when Olivier was talking a moment ago, and he said IoT, and he said something right after it, and it sounded like the word 5. I'm sure it was something else, but I instantly go, I think we just launched IoT 5.0 at this moment. Okay. But knowing that we have so much power as those cheesy evangelists, we could just start saying IoT 5.0 just launched, and we can say what it is, and I guarantee you most of the population will believe us.
And
but you can't do that because Stephanie had IoT 6 a long time ago.
I remember going to that. Okay. So we need to do IoT 7?
We can go.
There you go.
No, wait, Rob. IoT X.
There you go.
Oh, IoT X, like 10. I think that's where we're at.
Wow.
I don't know. That might be associated with our good buddy Elon.
Yeah.
Oh,
gosh.
Maybe you need to go to 11. You need to go all the way to
Okay, so maybe we launch IoT 7 and all of us just start blogging and writing about it. We'll come up with the list of what's new, which actually would be old shit.
And the funny thing is going to be that no one will ask where 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2.
You know what? I have this domain.
So true.
I have a domain I never use. It's like literally the Internet of Things.blog. Maybe I should just start writing on there and launching IoT 7 and just start writing about it. We start and boom, it's a thing. And if you want real authentic IoT 7, here are the actual list of vendors and tech people that you have to go to get it.
Well, I think you have to make it a subscription service first.
Oh,
so that we can all get paid.
Got to get paid. IoT 7 is about getting paid.
There. Then they can't say nobody's made money off of IoT.
That's right. And the working group that put together IoT 7 incorporated digital twins as part of the IoT spec. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because we're 7 on that call that we'll be publishing, people will think that that the 7 comes from the 7s who talked about it first. I don't know. There's some history here. We're making history.
IoT 7. There'll probably be an IoT 7 conference in Milan this summer.
Yeah. It never ends. It never ends.
I love it. I love it. That's what we're all about. We're the power of persuasion and the power of bullshit.
Yeah. Persuasion and
And the power of corn tortillas and French butter.
So IoT7.com on GoDaddy is $1,500. Someone booked that IoT7.com domain already.
Oh, no way. That means someone's already thought about this and is anticipating.
What is
I think there's a spy.
I think somebody just did it.
They knew we invented IoT 7 right here.
Yeah, and it's not even pointing to anything. It's not used.
No, they just reserved it.
Lots of people are buy domains.
But usually it's not at that price. They come at like $50, $90, but not $1,500.
In fact, I recently got in trouble with my wife for owning too many domains. And she's like, we just keep spending all this money every year for all these domains you have. What's the upside? What's the payday on that?
Yeah.
It's like the lottery, right? It's like someday it's going to pay, maybe.
Yeah, one of these days.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Funny.
So I'm going camping this weekend. And I'm going to go camping with the guys who helped create IoT back in the early 90s. A bunch of old timers. I'm still a young 20-something, luckily. And it's we go out to, not that any of you would know this unless you live in Washington State, but you drive all the way out on I-90 to the center of the state, like to Moses Lake.
Yeah.
And then there you drive south to this area called Potholes. And then there's these weird, obscure things called seep lakes. And you'd have to be a geologist fan to know about this. But what's really notable about that side of Washington is it's called the Scablands. And it was literally ripped apart by the last ice age. And there's something called the Missoula floods and this ice age. And so if you go to certain parts of eastern Washington, you will see the most strange looking land and water, and it's crazy looking. And it's like literally just scraped apart, and it was by ice. And so anyway, this gang from this company, Real Time Data, that I worked at when I got out of the Navy when I was in my 20s, where we did the vending machines with IoT, have been going on camping trips out there since 1995.
Wow.
And so we are celebrating our 30th anniversary. Not everybody's been to every trip. Sometimes you can't make it. But it started out of, hey, yeah, let's go fishing. And then it just turned into a thing. And so it's always good to hang out and reminisce, sit around the campfire and,
Yeah, definitely.
talk about how we invented IoT 1.0.
Yeah.
And it'll be excited to know that IoT 7 has launched.
Yeah, exactly. It's
So I'll make sure and tell them that tomorrow.
You'll have to report back next week.
Yeah.
IoT Coffee Talk, tell us what you guys talked about and what the next big thing is with IoT 7. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be working on all weekend by the campfire what IoT 7 incorporates. I promise it will not include flour or tortillas.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But it might include some chorizo though.
Yeah. Sounds great. Take peek.
Maybe we'll use these different words that we like to represent different technologies, like chorizo might be something, you know.
Well, if you ever end up starting a software company, you can call all your releases different varieties of Mexican food.
Yeah.
Right. And
I think that's smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy enough to actually work.
Yeah.
It is crazy enough.
Did you install guacamole on your?
We were struggling with efficient connectivity for IoT devices, but we use this new salted butter wireless technology, and it smoothed things out, and it works like butter.
Yeah, like pico de gallo. Yeah, exactly.
Pico de gallo.
You know what that is? That is crazy enough to kind of work. I remember a startup that we were at. Every network interface card that we created for a variety of meters was named after a disease. So we would have botulism, Legionnaire, and there was a rationale behind it, and it was because of firmware updates. And the way that you did the firmware updates, they spread like a disease. It was
okay.
I love that.
Have one called gonorrhea or anything?
No. We didn't have any, no STDs. They were all like, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Good. No, that's probably a smart thing.
But yeah, I do like the fact that IoT 7 is the queso con chorizo release.
There you go. See,
so that's exciting.
Yeah.
You know, and this is awesome, man. We are creating the future right now.
Yeah.
This is a sociology experiment that we are doing right now, and we're going to foist it upon the unsuspecting public, and they will believe it.
I feel sorry for the public.
No, but it's going to work because Pete's got Edge AI, so it's going to work.
There you go.
Edge AI is it's a real thing. It's legit, right?
That's actually a legit thing.
No, it's a totally legit thing. And you've got Jensen talking about it now. He just put out a little,
He's on the gravy train.
Get on
board.
It's out there. And but I mean, we need to talk about securing things at the edge is not as easy as most would think.
No, not even close, man.
That's true.
You're so exposed out there at the edge, you know?
It's really,
more easily attacked out there at the edge, you know? It's tough. It's a rough life out there.
And if you're talking about agentic AI at the edge, really?
That sounds like a big attack surface to me.
Yes.
Yeah. And then those are environments that are traditionally not, they're not secure in a lot of different ways, right? Yeah, because, Rob, when we used to go to IoT World Congress, Solutions World Congress, right? Yeah. It was funny to go to all the different telco booths and talk to them about OT security, right? And they would all freak out and show, oh my God, these environments, there's no security there. It's like, yeah, because they were air gapped. And so they didn't have to worry about that kind of crap. I mean, everything's wired. So,
right.
But for a telco guy or a cloud guy, even the Google, back then, this is like what, 2015 or whatever. The Google guys, the AWS guys were freaking out because they'd never seen these kind of environments before. Apparently, I don't know. It was like weird, but they took up the banner of security and basically try to vilify all these OT practitioners for not practicing hygiene or even the minimum level of security in these environments. So. When we start to see this push of AI stuff to the edge, that security conversation, we're going to butt into the same thing, because that initial push was IT trying to converge and push its way out to the OT environments, and I don't think that much has been solved.
Well, so yeah, I mean, the thing is like all the solutions are there. It's just a matter of making sure someone implements them on the device and in the system. Like, there's no shortage of ways to do encryption.
Oh yeah.
But the issue is in the development and deployment. When people start sort of try to cut the schedule and cut costs and things like that, then all of a sudden that stuff gets pushed to the end. So, so hopefully people will be more cognizant of that. But we actually do have a security panel, all kidding aside, at our event in Milan to talk about security for edge AI devices. So
yeah, let's talk about that. Make sure they bring up DTLS.
Just in case you're a UDP person.
Yep.
Yeah, and next time we'll talk about post-quantum cryptography. So we'll.
I love those guys. Our security solution is post-quantum certified.
It will support anything quantum. Okay.
But it wasn't it funny? Like at Google Cloud Next or Nextcloud or whatever, they released a new AI edge solution or cloud. I forgot what it was called, but they have an air-gapped option. So that I thought that was really interesting. It's a hybrid cloud solution, but they offer an air-gapped variety or deployment option, which I thought was interesting.
People,
you would never think that you would hear that from a cloud player, right?
Yeah,
especially in the context of hybrid.
If you're customer obsessed, you will give them something they're asking for, like air-gapped cloud. Yes.
Isn't that weird? Air-gapped hybrid cloud solution.
It's not that weird. It's not it's not mainstream.
It's not that weird, but I mean, look, let's just talk about the fact that it needs to be designed from the beginning, because that's where the problems come in. As things continue to roll, layers from 1 through 3, we know that you need things like TLS, DTLS, all of these other things need to be in there, and you need to support UDP and TCP. So, I mean, what are you going to say? Oh, we're UDP. We don't accept TCP connections. Get the hell out of here.
Hell out of here. Exactly. The whole world runs on TCP.
Yes, and by the way, of course, have the conversation about, don't tell me I've had this happen several times when we're talking about, oh, well, we're encrypted end to end. That's not security.
That's right.
That's encryption.
It's encryption.
That's part of it. Yeah.
Right. You need that, but I mean, you got to go into the full conversation about how frequently are you authenticating that device that wants to send messages.
Yeah.
And it's not privacy either.
No, it's not.
Maybe for IoT 7, we should upgrade and say the communication standard is Z modem.
Yeah.
I guess I'm too old for all you guys. Anyway. All right, let me get something more recent. How about NetBIOS?
Oh, okay.
NetBIOS. There you go.
NetBUI. Yeah. You guys never did Z modem, X modem, all the different ways you connect back in the day with your CompuServe and everything? No? You guys are all, I forgot, you guys are all millennial Gen Zs. Never mind.
I mean, I'm Gen X, but...
Me too, but not that old of a Gen X.
I don't know what you guys were doing with your US Robotics 28.8 modems. I guarantee you it wasn't TCP IP in the beginning. All right. Rob,
you know what? Maybe we should go back to when you invented the internet.
Well,
yes. Actually, speaking of inventing the internet, guess who I met yesterday at the Delta Lounge? Who was there?
Invent surf.
Al Gore.
Oh, yeah, Al Gore. That's it, Rob. You and Al invented the internet. Now Pete's met both sides.
I met him yesterday. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Wow. What here or in San Francisco?
It was in San Francisco. Yeah, he was in the Delta Lounge, whatever.
Delta Lounge.
The
Where
Delta
we were-
360, the Delta 360 lounge.
I can't get into
I'm
that
just
lounge.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, it was cool to meet him. Actually, it was really, really neat. Speaking of inventing the internet, but
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
That's awesome.
Wow. Did you guys talk about saving the planet?
yes, a little bit. Actually, I met him back in like 1988 when I was in college, and I reminded him that he's like, "Oh yeah, you look familiar," and I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah. Sure.
Very kind. I look
Very
familiar
kind.
from like 30 years ago.
Remember, like after he didn't become the president, and he just like went off in the wilderness and grew this giant beard and all that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like some kind of self-discovery, or I don't know. He was out in the wilderness doing whatever, and then ended up in Paris.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There we go.
With the butter.
With the butter. Exactly.
All right.
To save the planet.
All right, guys. On that note, who wants to take us out?
I think Olivier wants to take us out.
Do I? Okay.
Yeah,
I can
you're
do
a
that.
pro. You're a pro, man.
So, it should be said that this very particular episode of the IoT Coffee Talk is the foundation cornerstone of IoT 7. Super important. And that you should not take anything we're saying, seriously or not too seriously. Do not buy the stocks Rob tells you to go buy. That's super important. And that we're also doing that for kids out there. Elevate Our Kids is the foundation we are supporting. You can go buy a bunch of goodies from them, and then that's going to help kids get online when they can't, and things like that. And let's continue having fun. Thanks all for tuning in.
What opportunity? What are you talking about? You're a fixture, man. So yeah, we'll see you next week. All right.
All right.
Hey, everybody.
All right. See you for lunch at the Mexican place in Esquire. Bye, y'all.